I am Mark Perillo, one of your hosts and a technical account manager at RSD. Matt Zahn, an RSD systems engineer and migration specialist, will also be a presenter. I am happy to present Migrate Your Output Management Solutions using RSD proven methodology. I'm just going to ask right now, are you getting any echo on this call? Okay. We will answer all questions at the end of this webinar. You can submit your questions during the webinar using the chat feature in WebEx, or wait until the end of the webinar to ask a question. This slide represents our agenda for this webinar. We start with the question, why consider a consolidation project? This is followed by the RSD Solutions Overview, RSD Consolidation Services Expertise, and the example of CA Products Consolidation to EOS. The last two topics will be covered by Matt Zahn. First and foremost, why consider a consolidation project? Well, many of our customers have multiple output solutions in their environments. This situation may be present for many different reasons, including acquisitions, mergers, consolidations, or different lines of business in a company investing in different solutions over the years. This is an environment that could gain significant benefits from a migration to a single output management product solution. The benefits of this consolidation could be substantial, both in cost and operation going forward, and we're featuring EOS 360 as this solution. This slide shows the benefits of a migration project. You will find that the switch between using the term migration and consolidation happens often. The migration is the actual effort that results in the consolidation in the environment. I'm going to try and use that term when it's most appropriate in context. You actually see both used on this slide. We have observed that the savings from consolidation can represent up to 40% of the total budget dedicated to output management. The three main contributors to these savings are shown. They include cost reduction. We have fewer licenses for software and are using a subscription model which does not have an expensive initial purchase price. There should be cost reduction. We have training optimization. There is just one product family that is providing output management across the enterprise. RSD's EOS 360 server software runs on z/OS, z/Linux, Unix, Linux, and Windows. EOS Access provides client access in all of these environments, so training is streamlined and simplified. And we have optimization of current IT resources. Administrators, operators, schedulers, users, all of our people resources should benefit from consolidation. There should also be economies of scale. Fewer jobs and tasks will be running to support the environment. Storage requirements should also be reduced when the reporting environments are consolidated. We're talking about optimization, but how do we prioritize and quantify our consolidation project in a way that provides meaningful and substantive results? Our objective is to optimize costs to support our business priorities. We worked with Gartner to evaluate cost optimization exercises and work through a systematic process to collectively and critically evaluate them. Gartner collected survey responses of CIOs and IT leaders in 2016 and used the information to design their framework. We have embraced the Gartner Decision Framework for prioritizing cost optimization initiatives. This framework provides a systematic approach that weighs several factors for project evaluation. It can be followed working with business leadership to assess the risks and benefits of a cost optimization initiative. On this page, we actually see the Gartner Decision Framework template that we're going to use to weigh the benefits and risks of a cost optimization initiative. The criteria are listed on the leftmost column of this outline, and the categories go from left to right, red to yellow to green, or fair, good, better order. CIOs should evaluate cost optimization initiatives using these 6 criteria. First is potential financial benefit. Simply put, is this initiative worth pursuing? After all the work has been done, will the initiative have an impact on the bottom line? Categories go from small or little benefit to medium, moderate savings, or large, significant savings. Our next entry is business impact. CIOs should anticipate and account for how the initiative will impact the business. All initiatives and projects will impact the business either positively or negatively. Not knowing how this initiative will impact day-to-day activities and operations may result in an unsuccessful project. Categories go for negative, for very disruptive change, none, minimal impact, or positive, where we actually improve operations. The third of the criteria is the time requirement. This entry asks the question, when does the IT organization expect to realize and capture the cost savings that were projected? Is this savings realized in weeks, months, or years, or is it never realized? Categories go from long-term, intermediate term, or short-term to realize the savings or a better cash flow. Our next entry is the degree of organizational risk. This represents the efforts that will be made by business unit leaders and their staff to adapt to the changes that this initiative has introduced. A low organizational risk implies that there is a minimal impact to existing staff and processes that support your business. A high risk will impact staff, processes, and reporting structures. The categories go from high for a very disruptive event to moderate for limited changes, or low for few staff or process changes. Fifth entry is the degree of IT technical risk. CIOs must consider how the cost optimization initiative will be integrated within their current IT operations and enterprise infrastructure. Any delays caused by this initiative or a loss of service, delivery, or productivity could have an adverse effect upon the business and possibly negate any anticipated benefits. Categories go from high with many impacts down to moderate with few impacts, or low with minimal impacts. And last but not least is the actual investment requirement. Before any cost optimization initiative starts, an approval authority must support it and agree to fund it. The required level of investment may determine if the enterprise is willing to make the investment in the project. Is there a large upfront investment warranted or justified? Categories go from high for high investment to moderate or low to no initial investment. So this framework was used with our Output Management Consolidation Initiative for EOS 360. The results are on the next slide. We ran through this template and this tool, and we asked the question, what's the upside with EOS? Is it worth the effort? And we've produced the following results. First, the potential benefits were medium or yellow. We had license savings and staff optimization. Business impacts were positive or green. We actually had more efficient administration and user access using EOS access after the migration. The time requirement was intermediate term or yellow. Return on investment was within months rather than years. Very positive. Degree of IT technical risk was moderate or yellow. There were changes to the environment. A lot of production jobs had to be changed, and things were moved around. There were minimal changes in overall production. The investment requirement was low or none. There was little upfront cost. A little money was budgeted for services initially, but the other cost was subscription. So overall, that was in the green. Well, now that we've made a compelling argument for consolidating on EOS 360, we're going to go forward with an EOS 360 overview to show some of the features and benefits of the product. In this slide, we see the EOS roadmap on the left, or EOS 360 roadmap, and the key benefits on the right. EOS 360 is a proven, scalable, and reliable output management solution. Version 1 was released in September 2016. EOS 360 version 2 will be released in May 2018. The version 2 focus is on ease of migration and standardization, including expanded fields, forms, and group profiles that make migration from competing products more viable, and you're much less likely to lose any important descriptive or field information. We also have the ability to leverage hybrid environments, and we'll see more about that in the next slide, and to simplify usage and administration and increase efficiency. Looking at the key benefits on the right, first, we improve efficiency. We have a multi-platform solution running on z/OS, z/Linux, Linux, Unix, and Windows. We have high-speed ingestion rates for processing and scalability on high volumes of data. We have increased security with our solution. We have transparent data encryption and masking of sensitive field in the output reports. And we optimize the end user experience. We have an easy-to-use HTML5-based browser solution for our product, and there's also Angular support for mobile devices. We have REST web services available for API calls, and we also have an Outlook add-in for people that want to do their report management from within the Microsoft Outlook product. Okay, I'd like to take this time now to talk a little bit about our hybrid model for z/OS and open systems, our EOS Bridge product. This hybrid model implementation can offer a 5% savings in your mainframe operating costs. This is accomplished by removing the online viewing workload from the z/OS environment, which can lower the rolling 4-hour average, which is used for subcapacity licensing on z/OS. This solution model offers two components, a z/OS system and an open system running EOS 360 software. Initially, the core processing in this hybrid model is done on a z/OS system using the EOS 360 for z/OS server software shown here. The report definitions, user definitions, and report capture are all run on the z/OS system. EOS Bridge provides a connectivity between EOS 360 z/OS server and the EOS 360 open system. This connectivity is architected by using Unix system services in z/OS as a transfer mechanism. Finally, this step shows the EOS 360 open system environment as the recipient of the appropriate indexes, table of contents, and report content. The online viewing of these reports can be provided by EOS 360 running on the open systems environment instead of using resources on z/OS for online viewing. In either case, the user would use EOS Access for viewing these reports. The key benefits of this hybrid model are, first, it reduces costs. You're now using your open systems for report viewing. All those resources are not being used on z/OS anymore, and you can save on your monthly costs. And optionally, you now have the ability to archive these reports on the open system instead of z/OS, if that makes more sense in your organization. We are also leveraging our IT efficiency. We're improving it. We're leveraging existing EOS definitions on z/OS that have traditionally been defined there and are well maintained. And they're being used in the open environment. And we're ensuring operations business continuity. We have more than one place to view these reports. We have a hot online backup if warranted. And we're optimizing the end user experience. Access to reports on both z/OS and open systems are provided by EOS Access. So you have a global view using federated access to all of your EOS databases for your online viewing. Okay, at this time, I would like to turn the webinar presentation over to Matt Zahn, our Systems Engineer and Migration Specialist at RSD.
Thanks, Mark. As Mark said, my name is Matt Zahn, and I'm a Systems Engineer on the Technical Support Team at RSD and also a member of the Migration Team. For this part of the presentation, I want to do a deeper dive into how a migration project would roll out. We at RSD understand that customers are wary of migrations. There are impacts on the production environment, creating risks to your business. We address this concern with a dedicated migration support team that has vast experience migrating different systems while mitigating risks and ensuring secure migration with data integrity. Also, we have a proven migration methodology. Our tool set is a solid base offering which can be tailored to your specific implementation and complex processes to deliver a successful migration. We take pride in understanding the uniqueness of each customer's project and working with you to produce a customized plan. So we have successfully migrated some of the largest worldwide companies in the recent past from the following solutions. You can see them there on the right: the Beta product, BMC, Control D, the Mobius products from ASG, but most importantly, and the focus of this webinar, is the CA products. So CA Bundle and Dispatch and CA View and Deliver. Next slide, Mark. Okay, so now I want to go into the three stages of our migration methodology. So we do migrations in 3 stages. The first stage is proof of concept. Second stage is a migration stage, and then finally the production stage of deploying the product into production. So let's go through the proof of concept stage. The first step there is we provide you with a questionnaire to uncover your key customer usage and software requirements. Then in the discovery step, RSD specialists will work with your team to gather detailed information on your current production installation. And then finally, we have a proof of concept where we do a sample migration of a subset of your report definitions and a migration of your view archives. Once you then decide to go ahead with the project, we enter into the migration stage. The first step is the tasks and time evaluation step. We and your team will define the scope of the migration and agree on the results and success criteria. And we develop a transition and action plan. The roles and responsibilities of all the team members, the tasks and procedures that need to be accomplished, and then what our recommendations are for that migration. The next step is a implementation and testing step, where we establish the EOS environment to test the conversion process and validate results. At this point, then, migration begins. The next step is the validation and acceptance step, where we process and validate a significant subset of your report definitions and your archives. We do this in a parallel way while you're capturing data on your CA system. We do the same thing and capture the exact same data on the EOS system. And this is a iterative process in which we migrate the data, and then we get user acceptance on whether or not what we've done meets your requirements. And if so, then we let you go and complete the migration after you've done that, along with our assistance whenever you need our assistance. And then the last step in the migration phase is EOS administration and end user training on the EOS product. Finally, the third phase is the production deployment, and this deployment should at that point go without any business disruption. Next slide. Okay, so I'm going to present to you now a case study of a consolidation project that we did with a large telecommunications company in the United States. They went from CA View and Deliver to the RSD EOS product. And basically the objective was, after following an acquisition, they wanted to consolidate to a single report management solution enriched with new functionalities and a new user interface. And here's a quote from the manager of that project from the telecommunications company side. Following several consolidations and acquisitions, migration projects were completed using the process and tools provided by RSD. This reduced infrastructure and software costs while providing users across the company with a new web-based interface. And basically the important point here is that the migration provided their users with a single standard web-based interface for report viewing, as opposed to having to go to different interfaces for the different products across their enterprise. Next slide. Now, just to give you a little background scope of the project, the CA View and Deliver system contained data from 5 different states in the United States, so 5 different geographical entities. There were about 85 applications for each of those states, for those state applications, and about 10 to 70 reports were defined per each application. This resulted in about 12,000 report definitions that were migrated from CA View report definitions to EOS 360 definitions. And then on the historical archive side of the CA View Deliver system, reports were kept for a maximum of 6 years, but the average retention was about 4 years. And about 11 million archive reports were migrated into the EOS system. So how long did this migration take? Well, the elapsed time on this was about 4 minutes to start the migration, the production migration. This was about 4 months of the migration phase. And then there was an additional 4 months to restore and ingest archive reports into EOS. Now, as far as the project implementation time, your implementation time may vary. 8 months for this very large project was due to the telecommunications project team assigning dedicated resources to it and its expertise with both the EOS and CA products. Your specific project may take more time and can be impacted by IT personnel resources and computer resources. Finally, just one little side note about this. We used the tool set that's used by RSD has a special writer used to capture the CA View and Deliver archive reports in order to calculate the expiration date based on the original creation date. And this ensured that archive reports were not kept longer than their legal retention period. Okay, you can go to the next slide, Mark. Okay, so what were some of the opportunities and key differentiators between CA View and Deliver and EOS that drove the customer to initiate this project? The first differentiator was that with the CA View and Deliver products, multiple products of theirs were needed, all requiring licenses to provide all of the functionality provided by our single EOS 360 product. And so basically, in order to do report management and expanded retention that's under the control of the EOS AREP component, it was required to have CA deliver. And in order to do print management, that is bundling, transformations, and file transfer, the CA spool product was also required to be licensed. The second differentiator was basically the user interface for CA Deliver was a search-oriented methodology. So those telco end users of CA View and Deliver had to use cheat sheets to keep track of the reports that they used on a daily basis. Whereas with the EOS 360 product, reports are attributed to end users based on their business roles. You could set up, they had set up role-based recipient directories and gave access to their end users to those recipient directories, and the users would only see the recipient directories they had a need to view, and all of their reports were in there, so they could just go into those recipient directories and find them. Another differentiator that they provided as a reason to initiate this project was the flexibility to use the hybrid model within the EOS 360 paradigm. Basically, they saw a potential in being able to use the EOS Bridge and EOS Open to do their viewing on the open platform, thus reducing MIPS for viewing and printing of reports and that kind of thing. Next slide. Okay, another differentiator was basically that there was enhanced legal compliance with the EOS 360 product. With CA View and Deliver, it archives reports by creation date. And so reports that expire at different dates were on the same archive. So reports had the potential to be kept beyond their expiration date. Whereas with EOS 360, EOS 360 provides a 100% defensible disposition. EOS groups reports by expiration date. All reports on the same archive expire and purge at the same time. They also saw an opportunity to reclaim storage used by obsolete reports on the CA View and Deliver system, and they also saw an opportunity to standardize the expiration date of their reports. Okay, next slide. So that's the end of the case study and the end of the presentation. Want to open it up for questions right now. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask right now, or Pauline, have any questions come through the chat window? And I'll turn it over to you, Pauline, for the question and answer section here.
Hello, so it's not Pauline, it's Martin.
Oh, okay.
But okay, so we have a few questions that has been asked that I will read and try to answer. Do you have tools to accelerate the migration, or you do it manually? So yes, we do have tools that we developed over the years for each migration we've done, and we are able to automate the process of converting the report definitions from one product to EOS automatically for the most part. And we also developed tools to migrate the archive from one product to EOS. So be able, like Matt said, to re-ingest the report into EOS with the original creation date, and be able to calculate the expiration date that was set in the other product. Another question, can EOS Bridge connect EOS 360 for ZOS to multiple EOS 360 open system? The answer is yes. So when you define the bridge in EOS, you define it writer selection by writer selection. So for each selection you have of class, date, job name, or whatever, you can have a separate bridge definition that allow you to send different reports to different EOS open system. How does your solution manage reports once they are captured? Are they individual datasets or kept in another format? Okay, so EOS 360 compared to most of the other products has the flexibility to give you a choice on how and where you want to keep your report data. So the two main choices are: do you want to keep it on separate file, or do you want to keep them on a generic space called a spool? And what we recommend is to do a mixed. That for the small reports that are usually you have a great number of small reports. So instead of creating a mini data set in your catalog, we recommend to create one spool where you will store all these reports to save space in your catalog, your ZOS catalog. And for very large reports, to store them on dataset. This way, you don't have to allocate too much spool space in advance to be able to provision for large reports. And these datasets that are used to store large reports, you can manage them by SMS. And so, in the capture tool, you can decide, okay, for the report that are less than 10,000 lines, I will keep them in the spool. And for the one over 10,000 lines, I will keep them in dataset files. I guess this was the question. These were the questions we had. Anyone wants to add more? You still have the opportunity for a few seconds to add a question in the Q&A section. Okay, I guess we answered all the questions then. Here you have the name of the people you can contact. They are the technical account manager for your accounts. And I want to thank you for participating in this webinar. And if you have any question, please contact your technical account manager for further discussion. Thank you, and have a